In the heart of Manhattan, where skyscrapers pierce the evening sky like silver arrows, 10-year-old Ethan Hayes stepped through the gleaming revolving doors of Pinnacle Trust Tower on Fifth Avenue. The lobby was a cathedral of wealth, polished black granite underfoot, crystal chandeliers casting golden raindrops of light, and the low murmur of important voices discussing mergers, portfolios, and private jets. Security guards in crisp navy blazers glanced once, then twice at the boy in worn-out sneakers, a faded gray hoodie, and jeans that had seen better days. Ethan carried a clear plastic folder under his arm like it was the most precious thing in the world. He walked straight to the private banking wing on the 47th floor, a level reserved for hedge fund titans, tech billionaires, and old money families who never needed to raise their voices to be heard. The elevator opened with a soft chime, and heads turned. Conversations paused mid-sentence. A woman in a tailored Chanel suit lowered her phone. A man with a Rolex the size of a hockey puck raised an eyebrow. Ethan approached the marble reception desk. His voice was small but clear. "Hi, I'd like to check my account balance, please." Silence crashed over the room like a wave. Then came the chuckles. Soft at first, then louder. Someone whispered, "Kid must have wandered up from the lobby." Another voice added, "Probably thinks his piggy bank is in here." A security guard started walking over, ready to escort the lost child downstairs. Ethan didn't move. He lifted his chin. "I have my ID and the password. My grandfather set this up for me when I was born. He passed away last week and my mom said it's in my name now." The laughter faded slightly, replaced by curiosity and mild irritation. Behind the desk, senior relationship manager, Mr. Daniel Vaughn, adjusted his cufflinks and leaned forward. "Son, this isn't the retail banking floor. Children's accounts are handled on the concourse level. You shouldn't be up here." "My grandfather told me to come to this exact floor," Ethan replied steadily. "I promised him I would. Right after he was gone." A ripple of discomfort passed through the onlookers. Mr. Vaughn sighed, more annoyed than amused now. "Fine, let's humor this. Show me what you've got." Ethan slid the folder across the marble. Inside, a birth certificate, notarized documents, an account number, and a single sheet of yellowed paper with handwriting that trembled only slightly. Words from his grandfather, James Hayes. Mr. Vaughn opened the system, expecting to see a custodial savings account with a few $1,000s at most. Maybe a college fund or birthday gifts deposited over the years. He typed the number. His fingers froze. The color drained from his face. He typed again. Then a third time. His hand began to shake. The screen reflected in his glasses. Numbers scrolling, commas in places that didn't make sense to ordinary people. Behind Ethan, the whisper stopped entirely. Mr. Vaughn swallowed. Who was your grandfather exactly?" Ethan met his eyes without blinking. "The only person who never laughed at my dreams." The manager stood so quickly his chair rolled back and hit the wall. "I need to get someone. Stay right here, please." Minutes later, Mr. Vaughn returned with the regional director, Ms. Victoria Lang, and the firm's in-house counsel. Their faces had changed completely. No smirks, no condescension, only wide-eyed disbelief. "Young man," Ms. Lang said quietly, "we need to speak with you in the executive suite, privately." Ethan nodded, then he paused. "Can my mom come too? She's at work. She doesn't know I'm here." Ms. Lang's expression softened, the first real human moment anyone in that room had shown all evening. "We'll make sure someone stays with you until she arrives. You're not alone." They led him into a soundproof conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering lights of Midtown. Ethan's sneakers squeaked faintly on the hardwood. He sat in a leather chair that swallowed him whole. Moments later, the door opened again. A woman in a sharp black blazer entered, mid-40s, calm eyes, carrying a slim attaché case. "Ethan, I'm Rachel Monroe. I was your grandfather's attorney for over 20 years. She placed the case on the table and removed a sealed envelope with red wax and the impression of an old family crest. "Your grandfather left strict instructions. This was only to be opened the first time you accessed the account in person." Rachel broke the seal and began reading aloud in a voice that trembled just once. "My dearest Ethan, if these words reach you, it means you kept your promise, and that breaks my heart and fills it at the same time. I spent my life shielding you from shadows I hoped you'd never see. Your father didn't abandon you. He was forced to disappear to keep you safe. The people who wanted what I built would have used you to get to him and to me. This isn't just money, it's a legacy and a burden. You now hold three paths. One, claim it all now. You'll have wealth most people only dream of, but you'll also become a target. Privacy, normal childhood, gone. Two, let the assets remain locked, managed, and protected until you turn 21. You stay hidden, you grow up, you choose who you become before the world knows what you have. Three, walk away completely. Renounce it. Live free of danger, free of greed, free of the weight. Whatever you decide will not define the fortune. It will define the man. I trust your heart, Ethan. Always have. Love forever, Grandpa James. Ethan stared at his hands. Tears slipped down his cheeks, but he didn't wipe them away. Before anyone could speak, the door burst open. A man stood there, disheveled hair, unshaven, wearing a cheap coat that looked like it had traveled thousands of miles. His eyes locked on Ethan and shattered. Behind him, Sarah Hayes, Ethan's mother, rushed in, face streaked with tears and panic. Ethan, oh God, I've been looking everywhere. But Ethan couldn't hear her clearly. His gaze was fixed on the stranger. The man took one shaky step forward. Don't look at the balance yet, please. Ethan's voice cracked. Who are you? The man dropped to one knee. I'm your dad, Ethan. I'm so sorry. The room seemed to stop breathing. Sarah covered her mouth with both hands. Rachel Monroe set the letter down slowly. I never stopped loving you, the man, David Hayes, whispered. I disappeared because they threatened to hurt you if I came back. Your grandfather hid everything so they couldn't find it. But now they might know you're here. Ms. Lang's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and went pale. She whispered 4 words that turned the air to ice. They know he's here. Ethan looked at the frozen loading bar on the monitor, then at his mother, then at the father he'd believed was gone forever, then at the letter that carried his grandfather's final trust. I want to see it, he said quietly. David shook his head. Ethan, you're only 10. I promised Grandpa, Ethan interrupted, voice steady now. And I want to know what he protected. No more secrets. The adults exchanged glances, fear, awe, reluctant pride. Rachel nodded once. Ethan reached for the mouse. His small hand trembled, but he clicked. The screen filled with data, international holdings, real estate trusts, private equity stakes, diversified portfolios across continents. Then the final figure appeared. Total protected assets, $487 million. Sarah gasped. David staggered back against the wall. Even Rachel's calm facade cracked for a moment. Nearly $500 million, belonging to a boy in thrift store clothes. Silence stretched for what felt like forever. Ethan didn't scream or cry. He simply stared at the number, then looked up. What happens now, he asked. Rachel spoke gently. The choices your grandfather gave you are still yours. Ethan thought of the homeless kid he'd seen outside the subway that morning. Ragged backpack, drawing pictures on cardboard. He thought of his mom working double shifts. He thought of his dad's tired, haunted eyes. I choose option 2, he said. Keep it safe until I'm 21. But I want some of it used right now, not for me, for kids who don't get chances, kids who feel invisible. Sarah's tears fell faster. David covered his face with one hand. I want to start a foundation, Ethan continued, in Grandpa's name, for school supplies, after-school programs, safe places, so no kid thinks they're born to lose. Rachel's eyes shimmered. That's an extraordinary decision, Ethan. They spent the next hour planning, quietly, urgently. Security was doubled. Lawyers were called. A trust attorney began drafting documents for what would become the James Hayes Foundation for Opportunity. When they finally stepped out of the private suite, the entire floor had gone quiet. No whispers, no smirks. People stepped aside respectfully as the small family walked past, Ethan between his parents holding both their hands. Outside on Fifth Avenue, the city lights blurred through Ethan's tears. He looked up at the stars he could barely see between the buildings. I did it, Grandpa, he whispered. I hope you're proud. And in that moment, he felt somehow that James Hayes was smiling back. The lesson woven through Ethan's journey is simple yet powerful. True wealth isn't measured by bank balances, private jets, or penthouses. It's measured by the courage to keep promises, the strength to face fear, and the heart to lift others when life hands you more than you ever asked for. Money can open doors, but only character decides which ones you walk through and who you invite inside. Life's greatest riches come from love, integrity, and kindness, qualities no one can steal, freeze, or tax. Ethan reminded us that even at 10 years old, one person can choose generosity over greed, purpose over power, and hope over fear. If this story moved you, please leave a comment with the number 100 to show your support. I'd love to hear which state or country you are watching from. And if it touched your heart, consider sharing it. Let's spread this message of courage, family, and quiet strength to more people. Thank you for being here. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story that reminds us what really matters. See you in the next one.